Welcome to the first episode of the Dandy Dozen mini podcast, a new feature the Northwest Florida Daily News sports staff is doing for the 2015 Dandy Dozen high school football selections. Accompanying each article in the Northwest Florida Daily News print edition and online at nwfdailynews.com will be a podcast interviewing that day's Dandy Dozen selection. These podcasts will appear each day starting on August 17th through August 28th. First episode and the first article for Dandy Dozen is going to be Niceville's Romeo Finley. From then on, there will be one a day till the 28th of August, which will be the first day of a full schedule of high school football, and also the day the Northwest Florida Daily News its high school football season preview publication. These podcasts were recorded throughout the production. The photos, the interviews, the writing of the Dandy Dozen stories. Some were done outside at schools, some were done in locker rooms, some were done over the phone. So you may hear some background noise depending on the podcast, depending on when the podcast was recorded, where the podcast was recorded. For instance, the podcast with Romeo Finley was recorded outside of Niceville High School. So there's a little bit of a background noise in there. So I apologize for that. I apologize for any distracting background noise. But because these are podcasts, because these are kind of done while we're doing the other productions that go along with the Dandy Dozen stories, the interviews for the stories, the photos, everything else, they're being done whenever we get with a kid and actually can be able to sit down and do a 7-minute, 6-minute, 5-minute podcast, usually the length of time for the average podcast. So please visit nwfdailynews.com, go to the sports section, and listen to each podcast as it comes out every day in the podcast player. Or find the podcast posted to our WordPress blog, which will have an article on nwfdailynews.com and also a link within each Dandy Dozen story posted on nwfdailynews.com. It's very easy to find. All you have to do is go to nwfdailynews.com. You'll be certain to find it. You can follow any of the sports writers on Twitter, Travis Morider, Seth Stringer, or myself, Devin Golden, or you can go to the Daily News Facebook page and listen to any of the podcasts and read any of the Dandy Dozen stories. When the Dandy Dozen selections would begin, and thank you to those who continue to read and continue to listen to the features that we already provide and have provided for many, many years, many decades for the Dandy Dozen selections. Devin Golden with the Northwest Florida Daily News doing the Dandy Dozen mini podcast. I've got a not a new Dandy Dozen selection, actually a recurring one. Second year in a row, I've got Romeo Finley. Congratulations, first off. Senior at Niceville. I think wide receiver and cornerback, is that right? Wide receiver and safety. Wide receiver, cornerback, safety. Do you play cornerback and safety depending on the down, the position?
Mainly corner now, and then when they need me back, I safety.
I got you. Are you someone who kind of, you're going to get right up there and jam him, or are you someone who's going to anticipate a throw?
I like to bait the quarterback, even though the coach doesn't like me to, but there's circumstances that you can do that.
Okay.
And I press every now and then.
I got you. You've been offered by a few schools.
Yeah.
What's the most creative way a team has offered you?
Not too long ago, Missouri sent me a little ticket. It was pretty cool. I don't remember what it says, but it was a little ticket, golden ticket, and it was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
It was just like a golden ticket.
Yeah.
And it was just like offering you.
Yeah.
Any other creative ways, or are they mostly just letters?
Mainly calls and letters.
And letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it the more creative? Does that help? Like Missouri, maybe you weren't considering Missouri. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a nice.
It's
way
just
of them
thoughtful.
Trying to get out to me. That was a nice.
I got you. Okay. When was the first offer, and when did recruiting really pick up for you?
My first offer was my freshman year in the summer when I was at a South Florida camp.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Freshman year in the summer, and you got an offer from who?
South Florida.
South Florida, really? And when did it really start picking up? Like you started getting more interest, more offers.
My next one was Tennessee, and then it just blew up after that.
When was that?
Tennessee was like the week I transferred to Niceville.
The week you transferred to Niceville, so the week after your sophomore year.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Does that ever get overwhelming? Like you're going to all these camps in the summer, and you're trying to, and you're doing all this recruiting stuff. You're talking, and you have school. You're still playing for Niceville. You got 2-a-days sometimes, right? Describe how you're different than last year. Look at yourself, even as a freshman at Fort Walton. Describe how you're different from then to now.
Gained so much weight from that time.
Really?
I feel like I'm getting smarter at what I do. I'm progressing. coverage is getting better, tackling, and just becoming more just to play everything. I can do everything now.
I got you. Do you have a routine that you go through every game, like every Friday, or do you not really focus on that?
No.
You're not one of those superstitious people? No. Are there people on the team that are like that?
Yeah.
Really?
Sure, yeah.
Who?
I don't know exactly who, but I know there's people that
they eat the same thing, they listen to the same music.
In the same spot, do all that.
Put on the right sock, then the left sock. Okay. Are you one of the more in the locker room? Are you louder, or I'd predict that you're more like laid back, quiet. Who's one of the I know Eli said Deontay is.
Yeah. He jokes around.
Does he joke around? I mean, as a sophomore, you wouldn't expect that from him. What about on the field? Are you someone who's kind of?
It depends on the situation, but I'm more calm and laid back until somebody tries to come at me. Then, of course, I'll get my say so in that.
Okay. Okay. Who's the strongest player on the team besides you? Or you can't say you.
I'm up there, but the strongest probably Chandler and Week.
You know what? Deontay said the same thing. He said this. What is? I mean, he's just really
He's
just a
short
beast
and stubby, but he's just super strong.
Really? Because I know Bryson was strong. Bryson, is Chandler stronger than Bryson?
500 plus on squats.
Wow.
350 something on bench. Maybe 375, and then power clean he can get 3 something.
Really?
Yeah. He's a good weightlifter too.
Who's the fastest?
Fastest, Eli.
Eli? Yeah. What about the funniest?
Funniest? Probably Deontay.
Really?
Yeah.
What, most serious?
Most serious? Tyler Russell, the quarterback.
Just does he take on that
leadership role?
Really?
He knows that he's the man, and
he's got it. He's lead by example. Yeah. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I'm not gonna cut up. Yeah. Okay. Last year, you guys made it to state semifinals. Won a district championship. Won a region championship. Now you're in a district with all Okaloosa teams. Do you like that more?
I actually do like that.
Really? Why?
Every game
against these teams,
people but every game's a must-win.
Hey man, congratulations again. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing the podcast, and also, congratulations for being Dandy Dozen for a second year in a row.